bloody disgrace. It doesn't mean it's fucking right.
Get that right, well, moving on, because we are sort of approaching the dying embers of the podcast, and it's fitting when we're talking about Scotland, because Scotland, for as mediocre as our football has been and as poor as our attempts to make national tournaments has been, we have footballers that are taking spotlights all over the continent, all over Europe, all over the world. Andy Robertson lifting English Premier League trophies, lifting European trophies for Liverpool. You've got Kieran Tierney making headlines down south, playing for Arsenal. And then you've got the one and only Ryan Gauld. Which one of you? You'll be familiar with Ryan Gauld, Liam.
Yeah, he played. Was it Hibs a couple of seasons ago?
Yeah,
and done the square root of fuck all. But he's bounced back. No, it's clear. There's clear. We remember him at Dundee United.
Of course. Well, Ryan Gauld, for anyone who doesn't know, the Portuguese second tier, I'd imagine it's running alongside its Premier League as well. But Ryan Gauld was just named Player of the Year by managers and football captains in that division for his work at SC Firenze in Portugal. And I just thought, in a time where everyone's playing down Scottish football and not a lot of positive have got to be said, I think we've got to give praise to Ryan. I think he's played most of his football over in Portugal. He played for Dundee United, as Liam said. I think he was there for 2 seasons and he made 47 appearances. And then he made the move internationally before returning to Hibs. I think it was a couple of years ago where he made 5 appearances.
January 2019. That'd be right. No, January 2018, maybe.
Right.
He came in January. January 2018, I think.
And he only made 5 appearances, but he's grown since then. And then he's went and he's took the Portuguese second tier by storm. So I mean, why? I mean, I suppose you could argue about the level of quality that's in the Portuguese second tier, but would he not be worth a look for the Scotland squad, do you think?
I was thinking about this before we were due to come on and speak about him, and I was looking obviously at that Scotland midfield that he would have to get into, and it's a hard argument to see where he would fit in, really, because of the quality we've got there. It's the most stacked part of the team.
Well, aye.
It's unfortunate for a player like Gauld because he's obviously performed really well. I mean, I don't know the quality of the Portuguese second tier, as you're saying. If he goes on and performs well next season, which I don't know how well Firenze will end up doing next season, but he might get a look in then, but he'll still be battling with the same level of player. Stuart Armstrong, Callum McGregor, James Forrest, John McGinn, McTominay. I know they're not all in the exact same position, but they're all midfielders at the end of the day, and it's going to be quite tough for him. He seems to have been around forever just because of how young he broke through. But he scored 9 goals last season for Firenze, and he's a good enough tally. He's scored some decent enough goals and obviously got the Player of the Season award in that league. 24 years old still, so he's still better than quite a lot of the Scotland squad there. But I just think that it'll be tough for him to break in because of the quality that's there.
Well, maybe if he gets into the Scotland squad, Steve Clarke will just play him in a new position, Liam.
Yeah, it was. And I remember when he came to Hibs, there was a bit of hype because he's a bit of a name, and you remember if he Dundee United. But in fairness to him, he was hampered by injuries when he came back to Scotland, and he's went back down to Portugal and done really well. So fair play to him. I think all it was maybe a spell at Hibs. Maybe people up here just sort of forgot about him, put him to the side. But he's getting in the headlines with performances over in Portugal. So I think it's far too early to be talking about Scotland courts, mainly because of the position he's in. And I think for somebody who's not played as much football as he'd have liked to, not been settled at a club, I would just focus on playing week in, week out for Firenze in the top flight, seeing how he does against a higher standard of opposition, and take it one game at a time. And I think it's good that he's sort of had that second wind over there, and long may it continue. And there is a sort of Benjamin Button effect to Ryan Gauld, where in my head he should be like 42 years old, and I don't know, turning up at Kelly a bit now or something. But he's still very much young. He's got his best years ahead of him, so hopefully he does well.
Yeah, I did see it on social media, and I just seen that none of our own pundits, nobody over here was sort of making any sort of comment on it. Nobody was sort of making. I mean, he's made sort of big news over in Portugal for obvious reasons, but I just thought he deserved some sort of recognition. So if Ryan Gauld ever finds himself listening to the Tap Bag, then congratulations on a successful season, and we wish you another one. But moving on, after dropping my pen, Ben, you were wanting to talk about more transfer news. Obviously, we've mentioned Anthony Stokes going to Livingston, but something's caught your eye, Lesser Hampden way for Queen's Park. Who is it that's signed for Queen's Park?
It's Louis Longridge of every single Fife team and other teams in Scotland as well.
Yep.
Decent enough player. His time at Dunfermline, he didn't bark up many trees. He was okay in spells, but he's had a better period at teams like Raith Rovers, and Falkirk fans seem to like him and wanted to keep him on. At the end of last season, wanted the club to offer him a contract, and he's made the move right down to League Two. And with Queen's Park showing the ambition that they are, signing a lot of players that you wouldn't have really expected them to, even though they have made that move to full-time football. Ray McKinnon's clearly got, as Queen's Park are putting it themselves, they're really going with the branding of the Rayvolution. So they're clearly wanting to push it and be ambitious in the next few years and maybe get to the Premiership at some point. But as far as the squad's going, they're putting together a good squad. They've got players like Tommy Robinson, Peter Grant. It's probably players that are lower end Championship level, but as obvious, they're in League Two, so they're going to perform really well at that level. Bob McHugh, for example, another really good signing for them. He's got a decent amount of goals at Championship level just last season, and that's a really good pickup for them, and no doubt he'll get a really good amount of goals, especially with the service that's now going to be provided by players like Longridge.
I'd like the court to note that Liam shook his head at the notion of Rayvolution.
No, it's the notion of Ray McKinnon, actually. To be honest with you, the concept of Ray McKinnon, I find a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, for League Two, like Ray McKinnon, I've no doubt Queen's Park, if not go right up automatically, will be right in amongst the promotion contenders. They've obviously, with the sale of hands, they've got a bit of money behind them, and I think they could trust worse managers for a League Two standard than Ray McKinnon with that. Definitely could do a lot worse. It's just when Ray McKinnon is a figure of fun at the moment, and he will be for years, in my opinion. The calibre of the man, I can't take Ray McKinnon seriously. I just can't. I would just keep in terms of the Rayvolution branding, I would just, if I was Ray McKinnon, I'd keep my mouth shut for a couple of years. Do you know what I mean? Just get on with it, get on with coaching, do well, managing in Glasgow. See what you can do with Queen's Park, but no, it's going to take a lot more than a promotion for League Two for Ray McKinnon to earn my respect again.
I didn't see any numbers, but the sale of Hampden, how much did that go? How much did Queen's Park make for that?
I can't even mind seeing any numbers for that either. You'd imagine it was quite a substantial sum. I wouldn't even like to put a figure to it because I've got honestly no clue.
Because my next
was it not? I think it was something like, maybe I'm way off here, but I thought it was something like 2 point something million.
That was the number I keep in my head, but I didn't know what to come out yet.
I'm stupid enough to put my head above the parapet and be like £7 million out. But I had that in my head from when that all was going about. Maybe I'm wrong.
Because my next question was going to be, it's just when Ben mentioned they're obviously got aspirations to perhaps be a Premiership team. Do you think are Queen's Park realistic for a charge at the League Two title?
Not in Ben's eyes.
You had to bring that, P. I thought that one had slid under the radar.
Aye, mate, we've all been getting digs in it, so you need to take one.
Nothing slides under the radar on this podcast. I'm still holding grudges against Ray McKinnon for stabbing a club I have no interest in the back. You know, nobody gets away with it. Do you know what I mean?
As far as the league title goes, they're probably going to be up there. Shockingly, in my predictions, League Two predictions, I forgot they even existed as a club. And then obviously they're going to make all these signings, and I'm sitting here putting tweets out saying that they're destined champions-elect before a ball's even been kicked. So it swings and roundabouts with me in terms of predictions. I just say it as it is at the time in my head. But I think Queen's Park will easily go and challenge for the title and probably win it due to the players that they've got at their disposal now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Crawford likes to live on the edge. It's official.